rumors about the state of play happening soon, a new DualSense model has leaked, Spider-Man 2 dominates DICE Awards nominations, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is not doing well in previews. All that and more in today's PlayStation news, let's get to them. The first state of play of the year is rumored to happen really soon, in the next few weeks, as revealed by insider Jeff Grubb in one of his recent podcasts. With Microsoft announcing a developer direct, and Grubb also hinting the first Nintendo Direct could happen in February, PlayStation could have a show to line up with those, and ahead of big upcoming titles like Helldivers 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Rise of the Ronin, and Dragon's Dogma 2. Grubb, however, said to have tempered expectations based on previous events, but I would say a state of play covering those already announced games doesn't sound too ambitious. Sony had a state of play in February last year where they covered some PSVR 2 games, Humanity, Baldur's Gate 3, Street Fighter 6, Resident Evil 4, and Suicide Squad. When do you think the first state of play will happen? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Now let's recap the PlayStation Plus catalog update for Extra, Deluxe, and Premium users this month. The catalog lineup includes Tiny Tina's Wonderlands Next Level Edition, Resident Evil 2, Hard Space Shipbreaker, LEGO City Undercover, Just Cause 3, Session Escape Sim, Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun, Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song, and Surviving the Aftermath. As for Deluxe and Premium, you guys get Rallycross, Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, Legend of Mana, and Secrets of Mana. Deluxe and Premium users will also get select Crunchyroll series through Sonic Pictures Core, with the service expanding to the Netherlands, Portugal, Poland, Ireland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Finland on January 15. The new catalog games will be up for download on January 16, and now is the last chance to play the 9 games leaving next Monday, January 15, such as It Takes Two, Devil May Cry 5 Standard and Special Edition, SnowRunner, Back 4 Blood, Yet the Far Shore, Omno, Pillars of Eternity 2 Deathfire Ultimate Edition, The Missing JJ Macfield and the Island of Memories, and Mitsurugi Kamuihake. It's not the only news we have on PS Plus, as a new classic joining the service was leaked by Sony themselves. They tweeted and posted on their PlayStation Access YouTube channel that PS1 game Alone in the Dark The New Nightmare was joining this month, but quickly deleted all references. The reboot for Alone in the Dark is launching in March, so the classic could be brought back to promote the new one in the coming months. Regardless of this omission, I think this is a good month to start the year on all tiers. What do you think? What games will you be playing from the first catalog update of the year? Let us know in the comments or vote on the poll in the community tab. Moving on, Arrowhead Studios has revealed new details for Helldivers 2, including PC specs. The game will feature 4K support, DualSense compatibility, and crossplay support, allowing players on PS5 and PC to team up seamlessly. If you are planning to play the game on PC, you would require an Intel Core i7 4790K or AMD Ryzen 5 1500X for processor, an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 or AMD Radeon RX 470 for graphics, 8GB of RAM and 100GB hard drive space to run it at 1080p and 30fps. It goes all the way up to an Intel Core i5 12600K or AMD Ryzen 7 5800X 3D for processor, an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 or AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX for graphics, 16GB of RAM and 100GB SSD space to play at crisp 4K and 60fps. Helldivers 2 launches on February 8th and not the 28th, as the latest PlayStation trailer at CES pointed out. Speaking of CES, Sony has revealed the Deep Earth Collection faceplates for the new PS5 Slim at the event show floor. The Volcanic Red, Cobalt Blue, and Sterling Silver case variants were announced in a state of play last September, both for the original PS5 model since the Slim had not been announced. With the cases being shown at CES, it hints they may soon be available for purchase at retailers, but we'll have to wait a bit more until Sony confirms. Let's talk about more hardware, as a new DualSense model with an upgraded battery life has been spotted in Best Buy Canada. The retailer site is listing the new controller as DualSense V2, featuring an exceptional 12-hour battery life that supports long gaming sessions. It also includes a charging dock for $89.99 Canadian dollars, the same price as the original DualSense. there are no visual differences to the controller as it looks and weighs the same. The original DualSense was promised to have 6 to 12 hours battery life, but it runs more like 6 to 8 hours, so this could be a very welcome addition. Would you buy a new DualSense controller with an improved battery? Share with us in the comments. Next, the DICE Awards nominees for the 2024 ceremony have been announced, with Marvel's Spider-Man 2 leading with the most of them. Fingers crossed it wins one this time. The Insomniac game is up for 9 awards, including Outstanding Achievement in Animation, Art Direction, Character with Miles Morales, Original Music Composition, Audio Design, Technical Achievement, Action Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction, and Game of the Year. It was followed closely by Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3 with 8 and 7 nominations respectively, and Cocoon with 6. All three joined Spider-Man 2 and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom as the 5 games running for Game of the Year. The DICE Summit is set to take place in Las Vegas from February 13 to 15 with the awards voted by developers and the gaming industry. The ceremony will be hosted by IGN's Stella Chung and Kinda Funny's Greg Miller on February 15 at 8 PM Pacific, 11 PM Eastern. Which game are you hoping wins Game of the Year? Share your pick in the comments. Now let's talk sales as Sony revealed the PlayStation Store's top downloads for December, with none other than Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 being in the top. The Activision title was the best-selling PS5 games in both the US, Canada and Europe. Besides that, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 was still web-swinging in the top 10 at numbers 6 and 8 for both regions, down from 2nd and 3rd in November. Baldur's Gate 3 rolled the lucky 7 spots in both regions, up a few spots from the previous month. Ubisoft's Avatar Frontiers of Pandora was a big release for the month, and it debuted at number 9 in the US, Canada and 4th in Europe. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was also the best PS4 game in the US, Canada, but placed 5th in Europe for that format, with some fight from EA Sports FC24. Other PS4 titles included Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, Minecraft and Hogwarts Legacy. On the PSVR 2 chart, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 and Among Us VR led the charts, both released in December. And the free-to-play was commanded by Fortnite, with the FPS The Finals debuting in the top 3 for both regions. Our next story is regarding The Last of Us, as we are just a week away from Part 2 Remastered launching, and Naughty Dog has shown a new Easter egg for the game. As part of the guitar free play mode, you will be able to play the banjo as any character, but also as Jackson resident Gustavo, who you find in the very early moments of the game, and is an Easter egg for Argentinian composer Gustavo Santaolalla. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is out next week, and I'll be streaming it here on the channel, so make sure to subscribe to know when I go live. Let's stick with more The Last of Us, but now for the TV series, as the production has announced 2 new faces joining the show as Jesse and Dina. Dina is a quote-unquote free-willing spirit whose devotion to Ellie will be tested by the brutality of the world they inhabit. She will be played by Isabella Merced, who is also starring in the upcoming Madame Web and Superman Legacy. As for Jesse, he will be played by John Mazzino, known for being part of the Netflix movie Beef, and he will play a character who is quote-unquote a pillar of his community who puts everyone else's needs before his own, sometimes at a terrible cost. Both joined the recently cast Caitlin Dever as Abby, also announced this week. In related news, the show is up for more awards, now from the Screen Actors Guild, competing for Drama Series Ensemble, Male Actor in a Drama Series with Pedro Pascal, Female Actor in a Drama Series with Bella Ramsey, and Stunt Ensemble in a TV series. What do you think of the cast for The Last of Us Season 2? Will the show pick up more awards? Voice your opinion in the comments. The previews for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League have hit online this week, and it doesn't look good for the first Rocksteady game in almost a decade. The general consensus of the 5-hour demo is that the co-op shooter feels generic, with bland and repetitive open-world missions and clunky traversal mechanics. On the positive side, the cutscenes receive praise for their quality, with a strong writing and humor, and co-op competitive balance. However, overall they raise doubts about the game's potential success, with comparisons to previous superhero flops like Gotham Knights and the Avengers. Rocksteady and WB Games seeing this news have partially lifted the NDA from people who played the alpha last November, and they can talk about it but not share photos or videos. I played that alpha using Captain Boomerang and can confirm everything that previews are pointing out, with the characters having complicated traversal mechanics, boring open missions that ask you to move to a new area to kill enemies, and combat feels very generic as well. The only thing my friends and I liked was the cutscenes with Justice League members like Flash going against Green Lantern, and a segment at the Metropolis Museum where you are trapped with Batman. After finishing the alpha, I wanted to know more about the story, but I had enough of the game. Are you looking forward to Suicide Squad? What do you think about these first impressions? Voice your opinion in the comments. Now it's time for a round of quick-fire gaming news. The marketing phase for the upcoming Silent Hill 2 remake is set to be ramping up very soon, according to Bloober Team CEO Piotr Babieno. Konami has been silent, no pun intended, on the matter, with only Sony indicating in a recent trailer the game is scheduled for 2024. Maybe we'll see it in that rumored state of play. Microsoft may have acquired Activision Blizzard, but the fight is still on from the FTC, and Sony is helping them despite signing a Call of Duty deal. The FTC requested documents from Sony which Microsoft indicated were cherry-picked, and the Redmond company wanted a targeted production of documents to test SIE's assertion to block the deal, but that motion has been denied by a US administrative law judge. The judge cited Microsoft's failure in requesting a reopening of the discovery after it closed in April last year, plus an unauthorized subpoena from Microsoft to Sony which can't be enforced. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty was a success after it sold 5 million copies, but it also has an impressive attach rate as revealed by CD Projekt co-CEO Michael Nowakowski to IGN. 23% or 1 in every 4 players bought the DLC, and it stands with other DLCs from the studio such as The Witcher 3 Hearts of Stone with 22% and Blood and Wine with 24%, which is impressive considering the state that the game launched. Project Orion, the sequel for Cyberpunk, has just started production now that the team has relocated to Boston, as confirmed by narrative director Igor Sarczynski. After fan backlash over the prices of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth items in Apex Legends, EA has decided to lower the cost of the first 15 packs purchased to 100 Apex coins instead of 1000, after that it returns to its original price. So now the full event is not $360 but over $200, which is still expensive in my opinion. Mojang has announced support is ending for Minecraft Legends, the strategy spin-off of the series, less than a year after its April launch. The decision comes after the studio addressed community feedback and made improvements, but the game was criticized for being somewhat shallow and repetitive. While it won't be receiving new content, the multiplayer will remain active. Bandai Namco has confirmed the release date for the RPG adaptation of Akira Toriyama's classic manga Sandland in a new trailer. The game is set to launch on April 26 for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series and PC, with a standard edition at $60, a digital deluxe edition for $70 including an army base and hideout furniture sets, tank weapons and 6 consumables, and 5 tank stickers. Then a collector's edition for $130 exclusive from the Bandai Namco store with a customizable figure. Pre-ordering any edition gives you a survivalist camo pack with 3 colors to customize vehicles. And those are the PlayStation stories for today. Come back on Monday for a new video, but remember to share your thoughts on any of these news in the comments below, like or dislike to let me know your feedback, check out other videos you may enjoy while you're here, such as some Xbox first-party games possibly coming to PS5, and consider subscribing for more on PlayStation. Thank you so much for watching, my name is Joseph, this is Hype for Games, and let's get hype!